Coppermine, a community situated on the northern coast of the Northwest Territories, south of Victoria Island and on the west side of the Coronation Gulf. Its Inuit name is Qoghloktuk, meaning mouth of the river. It has a population of approximately 850 with its various stores and offices, such as the Bay, a co-op store, a recreation hall, a community hall, and hotel facilities. Its offices consist of the territorial government, the Kitigamut Inuit Association, the Inuit Tapirasat of Canada, the Settlement Council, and other public services such as the RCMP, the Ministry of Transport, the nursing station, Anglican, Roman Catholic, and Pentecostal churches, and a school. The name of the school there is the Qoghloktuk School, where all of the activities took place during the Central Arctic Regional Winter Games. Close to 200 people were involved in the planning and playing of these games. The games were scheduled to go between December the 1st and the 3rd of 1979. However, arrangements began months ahead of that time. The regional coordinator for these games was Mr. Murray Scott, who is the principal of the Qoghloktuk School. There were to be 5 communities involved, and those would include Coppermine, where the games would take place, Cambridge Bay, Joe Haven, Spence Bay, and Pelly Bay. Each of these communities needed a contact for the regional coordinator so as to help organize the games. For Cambridge Bay, it was Charlie Avalik. For Spence Bay, Pat Lyle. And for Joe Haven, it was Joe Wiseman, with Maccabee Nuktuk for Pelly Bay. It took approximately 2 months to arrange for the transportation and over $20,000. Most of the travel arrangements were made by the regional coordinator, which helped to save on their budget. In addition to paying for the transportation, the athletes themselves had to pay for their entrance fee for the games. Each junior player had to pay a fee of $10, and for each senior player, it was $20. Once all the participants were flown in, they had to be billeted out and scheduled as to when they'd play. All of the scheduling and the billeting of the athletes and observers were taken care of within 2 weeks before the games were to start. These games would consist of 8 categories of the Inuit games and 2 other popular sports, basketball and volleyball. The 8 Inuit games were the 1-foot high kick, the kneel jump, the 2-feet high kick, the 1-hand reach, the knuckle hop, the airplane, rope gymnastics, and the ear pull. About 15 athletes were registered for the Inuit Games, and they came from Spence Bay, Pelly Bay, and Coppermine. In these series of games, there can only be one individual winner. We can start off with a demonstration of the 1-foot high kick. The object of the 1-foot high kick is to kick a suspended target with 1 foot. You must land on the same foot you kick with and maintain balance. Each kicker is allowed 3 tries per height, and if they miss, they are disqualified. For the 1-foot high kick, it was Tars Anguitinet of Pelly Bay who won with a kick of 8 feet 3 inches. The 2-foot high kick starts off from a standing position close to the target. You then walk or run toward the target, jump from both feet, and, keeping the feet together, you kick the target. You land on both feet and keep your balance. 3 tries are given for each competitor at each height. The target is raised 2 inches at a time, and as the heights get higher and more difficult, the competitors may decide to only have the target raised by 1 inch. The target must be clearly hit with both feet. The 2-foot high kick was won by Maccabee Nuktuk of Pelly Bay, who jumped 7 feet 2.5 inches. The knuckle hop starts from a push-up position, placing knuckles on the floor and elbows at your side. Using the height from knuckles to elbows, you hop on your toes and knuckles for as far as possible. The farthest continuous hop wins. The knuckle hop competition was won by Peter Noel Kakulak of Coppermine. The one-hand reach consists of balancing your body on one arm with elbow tucked into your abdomen. You then spread your legs slightly apart and bend knees closer to body to help keep the balance. You spread your fingers wide to help provide a stable base. On one arm, you then reach up and touch the target. Then you return your hand to the floor before any other part of your body touches the ground. 3 tries are permitted for each height. The target is raised 2 inches at a time. Maccabee Nuktuk of Pelly Bay won in the one-hand reach. In rope gymnastics, the athletes perform on a suspended rope doing rotations and freestyle movements. The competition is judged on endurance and skill. Maccabee Nuktuk also won the rope gymnastics event. In the airplane, the competitor lies on his stomach with arms straight out at sides and feet firmly together. The body then stays firm and rigid. The competitor is then lifted by 3 people, one holding his feet and the other 2 on each of his arms. The competitor must remain rigid so that the body is raised 2 to 3 feet above the floor. The competitor is then carried in this position for as far as possible. The kneel jump starts off by kneeling on the floor with feet tucked under and flat on the floor. You then jump forward, landing on your feet and keeping your balance. The best out of 3 tries is taken, and the measurement is taken from the heel closest to the line, or any part of your body that falls backwards. It was Alan Noviluk of Coppermine who won in the airplane and the kneel jump events. The ear pull requires a thong or string to be placed around the outer lobe of the competitor's ear. On a signal, then the competitors then pull away from each other, and the one who keeps the thong on is the winner. It was Danny Hatukina of Coppermine who won against his other competitors. The non-traditional Inuit games were the team sports, basketball and volleyball, although they are very popular and also good to watch. Basketball and volleyball were played in 8 different categories with teams coming from all the Central Arctic communities. The categories were in seniors and juniors in both the men's and ladies' competitions. Let's start off with the basketball events. 9 teams were registered for a basketball competition, and only Pelly Bay and Coppermine had no teams to represent them. In the senior men's division, Cambridge Bay had 2 teams, an A and B team. The only other senior men's team was from Joe Haven. In the elimination rounds, it was the Cambridge Bay A team that came out over the other 2. The junior men's basketball had 3 teams playing, and those were Spence Bay, Joe Haven, and Cambridge Bay. The winning team turned out to be from Cambridge Bay. Getting into the senior ladies competition, it was only 2 teams that played, Cambridge Bay and Joe Haven, with Cambridge Bay dominating the Joe Haven team. In the junior girls competition, in basketball, there was only Spence Bay and Cambridge Bay that played against each other, and for once it wasn't Cambridge Bay that won, but Spence Bay coming out to be the winning team. Volleyball was the exciting sport to watch, as 12 teams competed to gain top honors. Starting off with the senior men's division, there were 3 teams that went for the title: Pelly Bay, Joe Haven, and Coppermine. Coppermine eventually came out ahead of Joe Haven. In the junior men's division, there were 3 teams that played against each other: Cambridge Bay, Joe Haven, and Spence Bay. In the end, it was Joe Haven that beat Cambridge Bay. Let's go now to the ladies' competition, starting off with the seniors. Teams represented were Joe Haven, Coppermine, and Cambridge Bay. The Coppermine beat the other 2 teams, which brings us to the last category, junior ladies volleyball. There were 3 teams: Cambridge Bay, Pelly Bay, and Joe Haven. And Pelly Bay dominated over the other 2 teams. There were 19 teams in basketball and volleyball competitions and about 20 athletes in the Inuit Games. These games were the playoffs for the Arctic Winter Games in Whitehorse. The town of Coppermine played host to some fine athletic displays, and the spirit of competition and a chance to meet friends old and new is something that will be remembered by all those who participated in the years to come.